All right, let's welcome in Sam McKewon, sports editor, columnist, podcaster, all with the Omaha World Herald, basically running the joint. Your feel listening to Coach Holgorsen today, standing in front. You heard a lot of guys. What'd you think?
I liked him. I thought he was really, really good and really interesting to talk to. I definitely felt like he just has a certain vibe, and it's real. It's not like a fake vibe. He has sort of a calm and control, sort of a, hey, brother, how you doing? Yeah. And I think it can probably have a good effect on the team. Not that Marcus Satterfield was, like, overly amped, but I almost felt like at times he was a little too laid back, whereas I think this guy can maybe turn the dial up a little bit. And I just like the way he talked about things. He was very honest about two position groups that I think a lot of Nebraska fans don't think are playing as well as they could be. And for him to say that in a press conference about the running backs, the receivers, I think probably got some people to sit up straight and perk up their ears.
Sam, have you placed your bets on the player he was referring to that they found today in practice, probably a young player that you might see more on Saturday?
Yeah, part of me thinks it's some sort of walk-on. Because I got to think that the other players that he might be thinking about or that we might be thinking about are guys that we can think about. Maybe it's it could be Carter Nelson. Carter Nelson's barely played, but then again, Carter Nelson's been there all year, so that would be a guy that you would think about. It could be one of those redshirt freshman receivers, Quinn Clark.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking.
It could be him. Those guys can play. In theory, it could be Malachi Coleman. It could be Neil Smith's son. You just never know who he could be thinking about. They've got bodies available who are not going to lose their red shirts if they play right now, and there's no reason to hold anybody back based on what that offense has done so far this year.
Can you give us two ideas, you said?
Yeah, now full disclosure, I want to be right because I said this after the 1890 open scrimmage. Do you remember the guy that I told you I liked?
I do not remember.
I'm a big Mekhi Nelson guy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I
You did say you liked him.
Watching him run in that 1890 open scrimmage, I was like, oh, he moves different. I like him.
Yeah.
And they need, even though I'm a huge EJ guy, they need a running back. So I think it's either Mekhi Nelson or I think it's Quinn Clark.
Yeah.
And I'm biased because Quinn, I'm with him a lot.
Sure.
And I did try to copy his dad's running style. So
Yeah. I would go with 6'5", can jump out the gym and can run.
I
want that guy.
competitive.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, let me ask you something, Sam, because I think this is interesting. And because now that Coach Rhule's kind of morphed into this CEO thing, do you get the sense, and I think I've said this to you before on the show, he needs a heavy, somebody that is the hammer that's not like him. Coach Dana sounds like Coach Rhule's alter ego.
Right.
Like, I think Coach Holgorsen, he says all the things that Coach Rhule wants to say, but you can't really say as the CEO in Week 11. He was very finite, and he comes across like he could be good for his spirit.
He was able to say it in a way too that was not like overly edgy or angry.
Just matter of fact.
Yeah, he's just
very matter of fact.
But not everybody has. Some people, oh, he tells the truth. He's a realist. But I like
You'd have criticized his tone.
But his tone was really good.
His tone was good.
right.
It was a good
so
tone.
you can read that.
Yeah, no question.
Matter of fact is a good way to put it, but it wasn't offensive.
Right. Actually, I think Rhule, when Rhule gets frustrated, his tone gets a little edgy. And so a couple of weeks ago when he was saying, hey, it's got to be on the players, it's got to be, you could kind of sense that he was irritated. And, like he wasn't saying everything he wanted to say.
It's almost like he knew Saturday was coming.
Yeah.
And then Holgorsen, I
play.
think, just has that way of I don't know, modulating him out. And what he was able to say about the running bus was very, very good. The hole's this big, you got to get in the hole.
Somebody's gotta
I'm
be
sure
in it.
you've been
That
watching all
was
year.
incredible to just have somebody articulate that. But that's why I bristled up a couple weeks ago about the offensive line. I'm like, I'm not sure what you guys are watching, but it's not on the O-line.
Yeah, and fresh eyes, that's the fresh eyes we were talking about. You just all of a sudden look and go, oh, that's obvious. There's a hole. And he's willing to say it. And the blocking on the outside, I'm sure he turned the tape on and saw it right away and said, you guys got to fix it.
It's been multiple years. I mean, I remember pushing my chair back at Michigan State at 21 when Nebraska running backs were missing holes in that game. It's just been a long time since you've had multiple guys that played the way that Nebraska running backs did for the majority of my life. From the time that I remember Nebraska football with 82, 83 until 2014, Nebraska had the best consistent run of running backs of any school in college football, and then it stopped. and it hasn't been back for a decade. And I would argue that that is as big of a reason why Nebraska's offense has struggled as any other issue on that offense in the last decade.
How did it land with you when he kind of went into like position coaches and kind of sometimes how they fall in love with players?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, it happens, but the fresh set of eyes, almost to say, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
That's what a coordinator should be able to do, especially in this day and age, because now you don't have just 10 coaches. Now you can have 15. You should have a guy like Holgorsen who's able to step back from all of the personal relationships the position coaches have and say, no, you've got to be more objective about your determinations. You can't just play the guy that you personally like the most. You got to play guys that can get you points and yards, especially late in the season when you've got everybody on your roster available to you.
And that's kind of Janarian Bonner, right? He's be one of those guys. He'd be one of those guys you put in that scenario. Sam, we get to this part of the season, and unfortunately, Nebraska's been here way too often.
Yeah.
We just kind of have this conversation of when you've struggled late in the season, you have a bunch of older guys that have played, contributed a ton, done things the right way, but you're not getting the results. And you have a lot of young guys that people want to say, why can't these young guys get more shots at opportunities to play to maybe get this over this hump? Where are you at with that standpoint of does Coach Rhule and staff need to take more looks, throw some more young guys in this situation, knowing that they potentially don't have to burn red shirts, but also knowing the fact that you have players who have done it the right way for so long, and you want to reward them as well?
I think on the offensive side of the ball, you have an opportunity to look at more young players because you don't have to play a Quinn Clark 47 snaps. I think generally speaking, defensive backs, if you start putting young guys on the field for a couple of snaps, we already know what happened. We saw it when Jeremiah Charles was out there and UCLA took him apart and they took him off the field. So I don't think you can necessarily throw guys into certain positions, especially on defense, because you don't want them getting confused. But I think on the offensive side of the ball, you almost have to do it imperatively at this point. And, they rolled the dice with Dylan Raiola right away. They made that choice late last year. They could have brought a Kyle McCord in, but they're like, no, we're going to let this kid learn. He's going to make mistakes, which he has, but he's going to be a heck of a lot better next year because he didn't make them. And now on a compressed timeline, what you hope you can do is you can get Quinn Clark and a few other guys to get that jump too. Here's what's interesting. Jalen Lloyd got that opportunity, that experience last year, and then they recruited over him. And now he's just getting back to where he's getting as many plays and opportunities as he did last year. And I wonder if he got a little overlooked during the course of this season.
There's no doubt that he did. Let's talk about Wisconsin a little bit. Last year, one of the things that beat Nebraska in that game was Mordecai getting loose. I'm not saying Braden Locke is a great runner, but he will get you a first down.
Right.
How important do you think is watching him, making sure he's got a pocket, and, of course, slowing down their run game, which has been pretty good?
Crucial. And last year, Nebraska missed Mordecai on a couple of blitzes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Plays that they probably would make 85% of the time, and they just didn't make them. I do think that Locke can get out. I'm guessing that even though they fired Phil Longo, they're going to try to use the game plan that he used against Nebraska last year.
Yeah.
I think he was fired more because of clearly issues between him and Luke Fickell based on Fickell's weird presser. So, yeah, they've got to find a way to make sure that they keep that quarterback in the pocket and that they watch that running back. He's a nice running back. That's yet another team that I think has a better running back as a starter than Nebraska does.
Even the freshman, Dupree, is coming along.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's the guy that I think they'd like to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Do you remember a press conference in a week like that, heading into a game like this, where the opposing coach didn't get asked one question about the team they're playing?
I don't, but he gave the strangest answer I can imagine to the obvious question.
Yeah.
Which is who's calling the plays, and then I literally wrote, he made a face. I'll try to make the face now.
He did. He did make the face.
Why does it matter? That's not the answer you wanted to give there, Luke.
Yeah. Because then that just kept getting questions.
Now you're going to get 17 minutes of them. And at the end, he's like huffing and sighing.
He is.
I'm like, this didn't go well. This didn't go the way you thought it was going to go.
Not one Nebraska question.
But one guy started to ask the question, and then they got flipped into something
That's
else.
right.
Yeah.
He's like, we would ask more questions about Nebraska if you hadn't answered the first question the way you did. So, it was a rough stretch for him, but you know what? At the end of the day, they're going to play a game on Saturday, and if Wisconsin wins, they win. So I think Nebraska has to play its very best. I think Nebraska can win this game by double digits if they play well.
Are you okay? Because I think he kind of morphed into it, that Coach Rhule used the platform on Monday to talk about the roster limits.
I'm okay with it. I think that's clearly on his mind.
Yeah.
And it's only 3 weeks away. Well, they can
It's
take some
kind
of
of
this stuff
late.
into
Yeah,
spring.
it's kind of late.
They can take some of it into spring, where they don't necessarily have to take it down to 105, I think, by like spring camp. I think it's probably by next fall that they need to do that, but they're going to have to start it here in 2 or 3 weeks.
He's not the only one. Dabo talked about it for a while, too, on his
did.
press conference. These guys, they're frustrated for a lot of reasons.
Well, I think they thought it
Especially
was
if they're
going to
walk-ons.
be like maybe got a reprieve.
Yeah. Or at least
or
it was
that
going to
they
be
were going to do it
staggered.
incrementally.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That
what
it
we
was,
thought.
okay, we'll
Stair-step.
get to 105
Yeah.
in 3 years, but we're going to go to 125,
Right.
and then it would have naturally happened, but they're going to have to do it now,
Yeah.
and it's going to be pretty hard, I think.